Good evening. This is the Elliott Wave update for the S&P 500 for Monday, December 13th, 2021. Reversal of fortunes today. The S&P did in Globex yesterday evening go up, and it did put in a new high above that 47.12. It got up to 47.23. And then as we opened, the markets reversed. And we started to head lower. And from what I can tell, let me just open this up just a tad here so we can see it. I have put a 5 here. Now, it's still labeled as a minute fifth wave, but that obviously will change. I'm just giving it another day or so to really determine exactly what degree and what actually is happening in the market. So right now I'm leaving that as a 5. So that would suggest that we are putting in an ABC down. So if I were to lower this to a subminute and put it's still a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but the larger above it would be a minute 1. So this would be the beginning of a minute 2 correction. So the first thing I want to do is to remove those support levels. And now, if we are going to be correcting this 5 waves up, which if it's a first wave and now we're due for a second, we've already surpassed the 4th wave of one lesser degree. So that's why we're starting to get a little bit cautious about what the market is actually telling us and what it is doing. Now, I think many people were expecting it all to kind of just come to a crashing halt because this week there's all this, the Fed meeting, and they pretty much have said through Jerome Powell last month at his conference, a news conference that he held, that they might have to accelerate or go a little bit faster on the tapering and begin sooner than expected. So I think the market is already trying to factor in that that's going to happen. And if it does, then a lot of the activity that we've seen will be curtailed in terms of pushing stocks higher. So if indeed this is the one, let's just put those numbers together. First of all, let me put this on retracements. Retracements. There you go. And we'll go to that low, go up to this high. This high is the one. Come on. All right, but I still got it. Okay, so what we can look for now, if indeed what we're going to be correcting is this 5-wave advance that we now look at as complete up here. Could be the first of 5, or it could be the entire 5. And so now we're just kind of going to have to play it bar by bar and day by day. So best as I can come up with, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It did 5 down between the Globex high and today's closing low at 46.55.50. And that actually came after hours. So strange, but this is either going to be an A wave or it's going to be one of the first 5 down. So we're going to give it the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to call it the A wave. And then what we should now get is a B wave rally. So once again, we are going to run, and I can't tell if that's going to be the end of the downside because we still have 2 major market zones to chime in and put in their 2 cents on what took place today against what may be happening within their own markets. So 46.55.50, I just don't think it's going to hold. So that being the case, I will reserve putting in additional Fibonacci retracements for either a wave 2 or a B wave. So that's now what we're going to be looking for if indeed this low holds. So if we continue to get a larger drop, then I am going to be of the opinion that the fifth wave, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, and this is 5, is still in motion. In fact, I basically believe that it will be. And so we're start looking at our support on the downside. It's hovering right now at the hourly 200, which is at 46.58. It's already broke it, come back above it. And now it's just kind of hovering and likely will remain there until Globex comes along in about an hour and a half. So first support that we have coming down, Fibonacci support that is 46.35. Then we have 4600, 4607 down to 4600. Then we have 4579. And the wave one, no longer the no break zone, really doesn't come into play here. So what does come into play is this one all the way down here at 44.92. That's what starts to come into play. Because if this is a corrective move to this 5 waves, it should not break below that level. But if it's a corrective move of this larger, what we would be counting, back to here and marking it as a 5th wave failure, then this first 5 down should break that low at 44.92. Okay, so this is now just extending out a little bit in terms of what we can expect. So I don't necessarily want to do that just yet, because let's just deal with what we're looking at right in front of us. If this small decline that started off of the Globex highs is still in play, then I would initially look for a move down to 46.35 or as low as 4600. So the support zone is going to be 46.35 to 46.30, and then 46.07 to 4600. And then below that, we have 45.80 and then 45.70. So those are our support levels that we're going to watch for. A break below 45.70 at this level would begin to highly suggest that the advances are done for now. And excuse me, and that we are now involved in a much larger corrective process. And I'll change the count, so I'm not worried about the count. I'm just worried about what we're going to be doing tomorrow and how that's going to fit in. Now, if we begin to bounce and this low holds 46.55.50, then we're going to just run retracements from the high, the Globex high at 47.23 down to that low or wherever it does bottom. And then that's going to give us a retracement for the move back up. So just to kind of demonstrate, I don't want to clog up the screen. So let me get rid of those Fibonacci's, and let's just take a peek at what we've got going on. Right down just in here. And that is assuming that 45.55 holds. And it's a little bit off, so let me get that a little bit fixed up. Make it clean. Okay, so on the way back up, again, I need to open this up so we can see it. On the way back up, we have 382 at 46.81, 50% at 46.90, 618 at 46.98, and then 47.04, and then we're back up towards those highs at 24. So if it's just going to be a corrective, we're looking for an ABC, and this zone would come into play. This zone actually just on the bounce, well, that actually was not off the low. So we've already been back to 46.81 before turning substantially lower this afternoon. So we have that, and then 46.90, 46.98, and then 4,700. And it would be in an ABC. Now, if we get more than that, that's when it could get confusing, because the only other interpretation that I can give it is that A, B, and this was a C wave, but I don't see the breaks in here to leave it as such. So this is much cleaner as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, again, if this low stays in place, then these would be the resistance areas for the move back up. And I would be expecting that. But if the market continues to break below 55.50, then we need to go back and be looking at, we had support. I'm going to put the other one back. And that would be 46.34, 4,600. Actually, it was 46.37 before, wasn't it? And then 46.07 down to 4,600, and then 45.80 and 45.60. So those would be the levels coming off. And then from there, wherever this bottoms, we should get a three-wave advance in place. So the only way it's going to continue is if this fifth wave is the extended wave, and it most certainly can be. So there's no problem with it, should it occur. And the fact that it's desperately trying to hang on to this hourly 200 is significant, because I think everybody realizes if it really can break it and we get a close below it, that's our next pile, and that's what's next. So that's the story for right now. And right now, the probability scale for additional upside and breaking to new all-time highs, yesterday, it kind of gave me the old head fake. I mean, it got up close, it got up to 23. So, and I was giving it a 60-40 that we would continue on beyond that point. Today, I'd have to say that we, no matter what, I think at 5 down gets 3 up, and then we get another 5 down. So the probability scale has dropped to probably 40% upside, 60% downside. Because we're just going to have a corrective bounce and then another 5 waves down to finish a corrective pattern that started off at that high. So whether we label this all as minute wave 1, and then whatever this happens is a minute wave 2, that leaves open all that potential for yet zipping up and getting to new all-time highs before the end of the year. Tomorrow, I am looking for initially a new low to be put in if we break below 46.55.50. We're so close to that number right now that if Globex starts and they all come in and start buying it, then you run your Fibonacci's the way I just did, from that low to the high, and that gives you where we should come in. And again, we've got resistance all the way up. So 4,700 should actually contain a move back up before we get an additional 5 waves down. That's how I'm going to leave it for right now. And the next update will be on Tuesday, the 14th.